It's Ware against Eagle Staff, and let's get this thing started. Rivalry matchup on Beck Sports. And you only get one tip unless overtime, and we nearly had one spill out of bounds, but the Century Patriots in the home whites control the tip.
Hey, I had two the other night in a game I did. There was a jump ball, and it was a tie-up from the jump ball, so we got two right away.
I'll eat my own words there, Noah, as Erickson misses the first offensive chance for the Patriots. And Ethan Stutz goes quickly to the bucket, and Ware snags the board.
This is what we're going to see a lot. Both teams want to be up-tempo. Century might slow things down a little bit just because of how much Bismarck wants to run and make this a fast game, but both teams are going to push the tempo.
There's Doppler, jump stop, and Schaubert hauls in the rebound. Both teams can rotate in offenses, defenses, in the rotations. We'll see a lot of that today. But it's a Bismarck High team first in the WDA in scoring 87 points per game.
They like to fill it up, and this is about the longest amount of time you'll see them take on any possession, and maybe that's why. Turn it over. They want to get some shots up before a turnover, but expect it to be a team that gets a shot up in the first 10 to 12 seconds, if not sooner, in the shot clock. That's the kind of pace they want to play. That's how you score 87 a night.
As Oprah would say, you get in, you get in, you get in, as Erickson draws a foul, this one on the ground. But going back to your point, 53 seconds into this game, BHS said, let's bring in our guys.
Yep, more substitutions, and we joked during the girls' game of this first game of this doubleheader, we had a couple hockey references. Well, this is what it feels like with Bismarck High. Line changes. Every 45 seconds, new guys rotate in.
They play 12 deep and only give up 64 points per game.
I think that's one thing that's pretty impressive. We can talk about the 87 offensively, that they can score it, but it's not like they're letting teams score 80 every night. There's only allowing 64 a game. That's pretty special for a team that likes to run as much as they do.
They run the floor here with Walker off to Cavisto, 5'6", smallest on the court. Intended target was Stutz, and Erickson hauls it away.
That's a nice job by Ian Eli. He's the one that got a hand in there, deflected that. It looked like it was going to be a good pass to set up an easy two, but Eli flew in there and forced the turnover.
And Century prides itself on defense. They can score, but defense wins.
And you want to be able to do that against this Bismarck High team. It's a tall task to defend against a team that has so many weapons, but they have to do it tonight.
Tall task in getting past Trace and Eagles staff. He throws up his first three, and we're still scoreless as Ware skies for the rebound.
Man, I love watching Ware play. He's just so athletic. He's so big. He wants to rebound. He goes after the ball at all times. Couple rebounds early in this game, and he's the one right there, as just a sophomore, was telling the guys, hey, slow down. Bismarck High wants to run this pace. That doesn't mean we have to.
Well, if you're Bismarck High now, you haven't scored in 2 minutes, and they want to play with that fast tempo. How do you get some offense generated?
Well, that doesn't help if you score 87 a night, right? That's not going to go towards the total. I think you got to make sure you're doing what you want to do, which is push the tempo. And then when you've got opportunities like this in the half court, take advantage of them. You don't always have to get a shot up immediately, but even in the half court, you're not going to see them pass and swing and do a whole bunch of different things going from guy to guy. They want somebody to attack the basket and get all the way there, and that's something Caleb Doctor just did.
Well, Caleb Doctor bullies his way in, and he did that against Erickson, who's 6'9", and there's your first 3 points.
Yeah, he's only 6'2", and he's given up 7 inches, but he also probably weighs more. I mean, just a bigger, strong kid. He, like you said, bullies the perfect word, because he just bullied his way to the basket.
Well, bullying on defense now goes Bismarck High. They have numbers. Here's Walker. George Gillette off the bench. He's a piece that they love to have come in early in games. One of the players that's rising quickly in the BHS program. Works on Ware, into the lane. 10 to shoot, Johnner. Throws it up, why not?
That's a tough shot for Johnner, and sometimes if you're the defense for Century, you kind of just have to tip your cap to Bismarck High, because that's really good defense. You made them go all the way down to 6 on the shot clock, which isn't something Bismarck wants to do very often. You tip your cap to Johnner because he made a tough shot.
There goes Doppler. Makes it look easy. First 2 for the Patriots.
Yeah, he just glided through the lane there. I mean, he took off from nearly the free throw line, and he was just able to float through the air, lay it in. That's a good bucket for Century early in the shot clock.
Turnover on Bismarck High, but going back to Doppler, he is somebody that they want to move the offense through because of his ability to get to the rim.
Yeah, and he's just a sophomore, but he's somebody that Darren Mattern said he wants to be a consistent scorer this year as a sophomore. He wants him to take more of a step forward, and you can see it with plays like that. That's not easy. He just makes it look easy.
Well, the Century Patriots haven't made it look easy on offense because of the Bismarck High defense today. Not a lot of teams do.
I was just
going to
say, you can say that about every team in the league, really.
Well, Century does put up 73 points per game. Top 3 in the conference. Off the mark on a 3 attempt by Isaiah Schaefer. Just a freshman off the bench.
Oh, got away with a carry.
Well, Eagle Staff and Swanson playing pitch and catch, 2 best scorers on the BHS roster.
I love what Century's doing. They're face guarding and not really playing a box and one, but it almost kind of turns into that because the rest of the guys have to be able to help. But they are face guarding Eagle Staff. And then when Eagle Staff went out a little bit ago, they did it to Swanson. They're not just sticking with one person, but whoever the best player on the floor is for Bismarck High, Century is face guarding that. And I like that because Eagle Staff can't hurt you if he doesn't have the ball in his hands.
What's the advantage of doing that to 2 players like that and rotating it?
Well, you're only doing it with one at a time. So right now they're not really doing it with Swanson. They're just doing it with Eagle Staff. And I like that because if you do it with 2 at a time, then it takes away your defense mainly. You've only got 3 guys who are helping off. And so it creates less of a team environment. But sometimes you have to do that on players. And Eagle Staff and Swanson are 2 of those that sometimes you just have to face guard.
Well, Eagle Staff 23.5 points per game, second most in the conference. So definitely deserving of that extra attention. And Schaubert picks up his first foul. Here goes Century off the breakaway.
I like this. Slow it down a little bit. Not that you don't want to run or take advantage of transition opportunities. Century tried to run. They had nothing. Now they're running some half-court offense.
LeBeau step back miss. Well, Bismarck High said, we want to create chaos, but we want to control that chaos. And so far, they've done that on the defensive end.
It's almost like VCU in the Shaka Smart days where they said havoc. Like, that's what they do. I mean, it's chaos, but it is controlled. Jordan Wilhelm has perfected it for this Bismarck High team, that it is chaotic, it is hectic, but it's usually because they're controlling it. It's only hectic and chaotic for the other team.
Well, my blood pressure sees the chaos, so I hope his is low, too. And there's another turnover, this time on the Demons.
Wilhelm didn't play this way until last year either. I mean, it was something that he felt personnel-wise they had to switch. They couldn't be a slow-it-down team. They had to run. They had to put up this defensive pressure. They had to run in 12 guys and do a lot of changes early on, as you're seeing 3 guys go to the scores table right now. That was new for Wilhelm last year, and man, did it work last season for them.
And it challenges offense like Century, as there's Schaefer. First 3 of the day for the Patriots comes from the freshman.
It's a good in-out kick. They got the ball into the lane. They kick out to a good shooter in Schaefer. He had nobody around him, knocked down the 3.
Isaiah Schaefer coming off a 20-point game against Turtle Mountain. He is exploding onto the scene.
Yeah, he is, and he's playing really, really well for them this season. Comes off the bench, but he scored the ball well last game. Knocked down 5 3-pointers, knocked down 1 there already in this game so far. A guy that they want to pick up the scoring a little bit.
I'll see a lot of minutes, upwards of 20. Deep 3 from Chosick. Schaefer tosses Foslin. Takes an extra step, dancing toward the lane.